Hey guys, so my husband and I were exploring this beautiful park in Savannah, Georgia called Forsyth Park when we stumbled upon, of course, you guessed it, a farmer's market. So what I thought I would do today is share with you guys some of the clips from this farmer's market so that you can get some inspiration for your next vendor event, whether it's a farmer's market or any type of craft fair, pop-up shop, any type of festival, you name it. I think that you can find inspiration from some of these vendor booth setups to help you figure out how you can either get ready for your first event or maybe enhance your booth for your next event. So what we're going to take a look at, we are seeing a number of the vendors here, and you'll notice that I think all of these vendors, or at least 95%, have tents. And it was somewhat of an overcast day. This farmer's market took place on Saturday. I think it was January 18th. It was actually the day before my birthday. We were in Savannah for my birthday, and it was a little bit rainy. It wasn't consistent rain, it just kind of drizzled here and there, but nonetheless you'll notice that lots of people are out at this vendor event. I can only imagine how busy this type of event would be in the spring or even summer. And let's take a look at some of the setups. So here we have I want to say it's a food truck where they also had a tent next to it, and they had a screen, a TV screen there. You'll notice where they had, I think it was their menu, and I love a good food truck vendor. I definitely want to spotlight food truck vendors in the future. I've been saying that for a while, but I think I'm going to do it in February. Here we have a more of a health food brand, and I love their color palette. It definitely feels like wellness to me. And let's see, what else do we see? There are lots of produce vendors at this particular farmer's market. I would say 95% of these vendors were selling some sort of food, but you will see a clothing vendor, I think it was vintage, towards the end of this video. So lots of good farms down in South Georgia. So I can only imagine how good of the quality the products are from these vendors. My husband was actually saying that he thinks that the vendors or the selection of food at this particular farmer's market is way better than our local one that is in the suburbs of Atlanta. But since we were just visiting, we weren't really able to purchase a lot of the food here because we were also going to be out shopping all day. So couldn't really carry food that needed to be refrigerated with us all day, unfortunately. But we are thinking about buying a second home in Savannah because my husband does a lot of work down there. So if that's the case, I'm definitely going to come back and do all of the shopping here because the products look amazing. So I actually got a question recently that was, what color is the best for your tent canopy? I also got corrected recently. Someone was like, you can't call them tents because those are like camping tents. These vendor event tents are canopy tents. So apparently I've been saying that wrong the whole time. I think it's kind of just semantics. I'll probably keep just calling them tents because it's just a vendor tent to me. I don't feel like the need to add canopy to that, but whatever. This vendor had that nice little truck in the back where he could keep more of his products. Here's the clothing shop vintage seller. So this was the only vendor selling clothing, and I'm pretty sure, I don't know if all of it's vintage. I think all of it's vintage. I don't know if they do wholesale or design some of their own products also. But this was such a beautiful park. One thing I haven't mentioned is that This is actually the Forest Gump park from the movie. So I should have mentioned this earlier, but this park is where Forrest Gump was sitting on a bench telling his story to all of the strangers coming by. So if you notice any benches, I think I have a clip of some benches to the side a little bit later, but that was actually the park that they filmed most of the movie, or at least the parts where Forrest Gump is telling his story. Oh, this vendor, actually, you can see that speaker. I highlighted it more in the previous clip. They actually had a speaker with facts about, basically it was reasons why you should buy their products. They were talking about some health stats and things like that. So that was kind of unique to me. And it definitely was getting my attention. Here's another food truck, but this is a coffee truck. And I loved how they were selling their coffee beans under the tent, and then they had actual coffee that you could place an order for from the food truck side. So that was pretty cool. Like I said earlier, it's top priority on my list to make a food truck spotlight vendor. So if you are a food truck vendor, definitely make sure you subscribe so that you can be notified or see that video when it comes out. And what else? So here we're seeing, I feel like I got distracted earlier. I was asked what color tent is best for these vendor events, and I think the answer is that it really just depends on your branding. You'll notice in a lot of these clips that there are all sorts of colored tents. You will see white most commonly, and I think it just depends on your branding color palette, because if you have more neutrals, then obviously white makes sense, and white pretty much goes with everything. But you'll also notice that there are all sorts of tent colors at this particular pop-up. So I think it's really all about your aesthetic. And here we see my husband, and I don't know, he had just run 20 miles the day before, so I don't know why he thought that was a good idea, because he clearly hurt himself. Here we are, we pretty much finished up on the farmer's market side, and we're just kind of exploring the rest of the park. Such a beautiful park. And we stumbled upon, he's doing it again. I don't know why he thought that was a good idea. He's clearly not in great shape after running 20 miles. But we stumbled upon this other side of the park where these vendors were not necessarily part of the farmer's market, but I think it was more kind of like artist vendors who, I don't know if they're there every day. We actually were there a different day walking through this park, and all of these vendors were here, but the farmer's market vendors were not there. So I think that these are vendors that come to the park, I don't know if it's every day or a couple days a week, and they sell their art or whatever product they're selling. I think there was like a fortune teller vendor. I mean, Savannah's definitely a big tourist city. There are all sorts of, I don't know, tourists in the area, and I think that these vendors kind of try to capture that market. Like I said, this was one of the most famous parks in Savannah. There's so many parks in Savannah. There's a park on feels like every few blocks you see a park. So this one was such a vibrant park. There were lots of SCAD students. So the Savannah College of Art and Design is in Savannah, obviously. So you're constantly seeing students walking all throughout Savannah, and it's just a great little town for vendor events. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you are a vendor looking to find more pop-up shops, vendor events, farmers markets, craft fairs, etc., then you need to download my app that's coming out this spring. So right now, as of January, you can join the wait list to be notified and get exclusive offers when it is launched. But if you're watching this later in the year, then you can go ahead and download it, because it's coming out very soon, and it's going to make your life so much easier to find vendor events, and you'll actually be able to read reviews about the vendor event rather than just having to guess and figure out on your own if it's actually going to be worth your time. Because personally, as a clothing shop vendor, I have wasted so much time at bad events where the organizers did a horrible job getting people to show up, and shoppers to show up and actually attend the event. So hopefully this app will solve all of those issues. I will link to the website where you can sign up down below. And with that, I do have lots of other pop-up shop inspiration videos for you. So if you sell a certain type of product, I have spotlight videos on candles, clothing, accessories, skincare, kids and baby, food vendors, more farmers market videos, all sorts of things. So definitely subscribe and check out some of those other videos. I spotlight videos all over the world now. I've had 3 vendor videos from Asia, in Thailand, South Korea, and Japan. Actually, it's 4 because I did 2 parts for the Thailand video. And I also have one from Venice Beach, California. So I've got them all over the world if you are looking for more inspiration from vendors all over the place. So with that, I'll see you guys next time.